Hello, welcome to Operation Merriment. Today, we are talking about geocaching. Do you not know what that is? That's okay. So, mission number 70, geocaching fun. My job today is to teach you things you might not know about geocaching, including how to do it, and remind you how miraculous adventures how miraculous adventures await you around every unturned rock, quite literally in this case. All right, so what is geocaching? It is the world's largest treasure hunt. So here's how you do it. I've done it before, and I started doing it back before we had GPS on phones. So I used to use like a Garmin GPS thing, and I would take it out and it had horrible, horrible service and I would get lost. And this was back when people were still also like burying stuff. So it was a little harder to in that way as well. So I'm an old soul with this stuff. I haven't done it in years. And this is honestly, this thing is driving me nuts. Okay. I haven't done it in years though. And this holiday is getting me really excited to go do this because I did not realize just how crazy cool things have gotten in this world, because with the age of apps and how, oh God, just technology, this is what technology is for, in my opinion. Okay, so let's catch you up to what I'm thinking and tell you how to do it. So the first step is you download the app. You can do it on the internet as well, just like the website. But when you go on there, I went on and it was like, okay, type in your location, and it was like, there's 3,000 caches near you. Just near me. So then you pick one and you go in search of it using your GPS. And the cache gives you specific longitude and latitude coordinates. It doesn't say like, go to, the Rofo down the street, the gas station or whatever. It says a very, very long longitude, latitude coordinate. And that was even weirder when I was using the Garmin GPS thing. So when you're close, you get close to it, your phone is going to take you right to it. It's not that hard with GPS. And even now, with the phone, it's probably going to show you exactly what it's close to, with landmarks and stuff. But when you're close, the phone, the app is, it's even cooler now because it's giving you clues, and it's like, okay, look near this, look, the little different ideas of how to find it. Because again, back when I used to do it, it was like, these are the coordinates, good luck. And you're going to see how crazy these things can be and how hidden they are. And you're going to be like, whoa, how did people find anything for the past, I don't know, the 15 years before phones or whatever. So it's quite crazy. So when you're close, it's going to give you clues and stuff. But then when you find it, the minimum thing that has to be in there is a logbook. So sometimes it's just the logbook and you write it down. And now with the app, you can also mark that you were there digitally as well. But sometimes there's also stuff in there too. There can be like a chest of toys or treasures, and it's like a take something, leave something kind of situation. So that's what it is in a nutshell. So let's go over some specific terms that you might want to know and catch you up with that. So catch you up with the term cache is just a cleverly hidden container waiting to be found. That's all it is. It's just like a thing that's hidden. And what do they look like? It's a reusable container. So it could be like a Tupperware thing. It could be a tiny thing as small as a chapstick. It can be a mini canister the size of your fingernail. Some of it's, like I said, just going to have paper. Some of it's going to have objects. Creativity is part of the fun, though. So your app is going to tell you the size, which is also a helpful thing that I didn't used to have. And it's pretty cool. So it'll tell you like if it's as big as a building or if it's as small as a chapstick tube, right? So it's going to give you an idea. Who's hiding these things? You. People like you. It's not like a geocaching team. It's not anyone famous. It's not anyone special. It's you. You are making the game happen. Geocaching people are making the game happen. Can you make one or hide one? Yep, that's the whole thing. Do you have to hide them in order to play? No, you can just go hide them, but creativity breeds more creativity. So it would be really great if you do play to make one. That'd be cool. Can you keep the ones that you find? Nope, that would be really not nice. So part of the game is that they need to be rehidden so that other people can play too. If you keep one, that's stealing. And what is a trackable? So that is a new specific geocaching approved item that is intended to move from one cache box to the next. So it's something that has like a little registered code on it. And when you find one, it's like, oh, this is a cool thing. I know this is a trackable. And when you see one, you grab that is something that you grab out of the box or the cache, and then you take it into the next cache, and then people can see their trackable move across the world online on the app. And a tip, you always want to bring a pen to the thing so that you can write in the logbook. Pens are not provided, and never bury caches. And that also means that you don't have to ever look in the ground. They're always going to be not subterranean. Okay, so now let's look, now that we know what it is we're talking about, the history of this. So this all happened in a year. All of the origin, the genesis of geocaching, pay attention to the dates here. This is the year 2000, okay? So May 2nd, 2000, what happened during Bill Clinton's administration changed the history of GPS. So the accuracy of GPS improved tenfold overnight because Bill Clinton decided to, his administration rather, it decided to enable selective availability. Now that, and to do that, to the public, because it was not available to the public before. And basically that just made it so that we could look up stuff very, very specifically with longitude and latitude. Okay, you can look more into that if you want, but that night at midnight, everything changed in terms of GPS. So for 24 hours, a bunch of GPS nerds were like, oh my God, what can we do with this? And this specific guy, Dave Ulmer, he was a computer consultant, and he was like, okay, well, I would like to play a game with the GPS. And that's why it's like, this is what happens when nerds go outside. That's kind of like one of their slogans. And he called it the Great American GPS Stash Hunt. Kind of lengthy, but all right. And his idea was that people would hide a container out in the woods and then note the coordinates with the GPS unit. So the rules were take some stuff, leave some stuff. And he put his own container out. It was a black bucket in the woods in Oregon near Portland. And it had a logbook and a pencil, and he left a bunch of prize items in there, like videos, books, software, and a slingshot. And this is where it was in Portland. There's like near Portland, there's like a big plaque there, and you can go visit that if you want. Those are the coordinates. Blaise Pascal said, we never seek things for themselves. What we seek is in the very seeking of things. Now, keep up, because we're only on the 24-hour mark after the GPS selective availability went public. So then later that month, at the end of May, this guy, Matt Stum, sees all these things that are going on the forums back in 2000 online, these primitive internet forums about these like people that are really into GPS, and people are talking about this thing that this guy did, and all that the guy Dave did in Portland, and other people are like, dude, this is pretty cool. So Matt Stum coins the term geocaching, and they put out this, there's like this mailing list that's going around. Okay, so that's where the term geocaching first is invented, like within 30 days of this GPS stash hunt that people are already excited about. Okay, now then within a month from that, this guy, Mike Teague, officially finds Dave's cache. Now, it is kind of contested if he was really the first one. He's at least the first one that we acknowledge because he like wrote about it. Who knows what really happened? We don't know. But he begins not just doing that, but he begins documenting other people who are doing this and the coordinates of other people who are doing it. So he's like basically making a blog about people who are doing the GPS stash hunt / geocaching situation. He's documenting it, he's collaborating, and he's just like putting up pictures and writing it. He's making like his own little Instagram blog situation on his homepage of a very probably primitive looking like AOL hometown kind of thing, probably. Or GeoCities, who knows? Maybe it had some of those like loading things that came down. I always loved those. Okay, so then a couple months later, 3 months later, this guy, Jeremy Irish, launches geocaching.com, and he's working with Mike Teague. And they know about 75 caches that are happening in the world. They're like, okay, we know about these, and then they put them all together. He kind of works with Mike Teague and what he's been documenting, and they launch an official website that has a domain. And they're like, yep, let's do that. And it's officially launched. And then by the end of that year, that guy Jeremy and then 2 other guys found this company officially. They found it, they call it Groundspeak Inc. And they continue to operate the site today, which is called geocaching. So it's just like the umbrella term, like how uncustomary.org is the name of or Uncustomary is the name of my business, but like Merriment Making is what I do, right? So it's just like different. But yeah, so that's in 6 months that they did all that. And geocaching is still happening today, and it's only growing in popularity. And these are the guys that run the site. Okay, now, if you're like, this isn't that new, you're not wrong. There's a thing called letterboxing, and I just copied and pasted this from Wikipedia. So here are some examples of letterboxing. And letterboxing is an outdoor hobby that combines elements of orienteering, art, and puzzle solving. So letterboxers hide small weatherproof boxes. You can see here, like it's in a rock. How cool is that? In publicly accessible places like parks, and distribute clues to find the box in printed catalogs or on websites or by word of mouth, very guerrilla art, right? And the individual letterboxes contain a notebook and a rubber stamp, preferably hand carved or custom made, very mail art, Fluxus movement kind of stuff. So then the people who come and find it, they make an imprint of the letterbox's stamp in their personal notebook, kind of like a passport, and then they leave an impression of their personal signature stamp on the letterbox's visitor book or their logbook. So it's kind of like you have your own stamp and they have a stamp like in there, and you're just trading. So there's a logbook there, and you leave your stamp in that, and you take their stamp and you put it in yours, and you trade stamps. And that's a proof of how you kind of do that. And I am really into that. So I want to go find that as well. These are 2 new hobbies that I am really into. Okay, so here's some fun facts about geocaching. There are currently 3.1 million cleverly hidden geocaches all over the world. Where does geocaching come from? The term geo comes from the earth, and it is used like also meaning geography. And then cache's original French meaning in the 1700s was, quote, a hiding place someone you would use to temporarily store items. And then a second meaning is that, it's like a technological memory cache where you can quickly retrieve information. So kind of all of them work doubly and with each other. And like I said, geocaching is a modern day version of letterboxing. Geocaching has also been called geostashing, planeteering, and the GPS stash hunt. There's a premium membership now on the app that gives you access to downloading directions offline, beta features, tracking stats, integrating your fitness routine, and personalizing your experience. That sounds like I'm sponsored by geocaching. It's not. Those are just true. There are more than 9 million geocaching profiles. Geocaches are hidden on all 7 continents and in 191 countries. There are a bunch of celebrities that like to geocache: Hugh Grant, Jens Voigt, Ken Jennings, Will Wheaton, Richard Allen Garriott, Bernard Hoker, I don't know who that is, Melissa Joan Hart, Anthony Bourdain, Rick Mastracchio, I don't know who that is either, Mia Farrow, Ruby Rose, Ryan Felipe, Perez Hilton, and Rick Sommer. The second one that I ever found geocache was in very similar to how this one's hidden, in a pole, like in a parking lot, and I couldn't believe it. It was so weird. Because I was just so much of the fun of geocaches, you're just like standing there and you're like, where on earth could this be? You have the coordinates and it's like beeping like a treasure map, and you're like, okay, X marks the spot, but like literally, where is it? And then it's just like in something you're standing on top of. It's insane. You have to work so creatively. Yeah, like I said about Bill Clinton's administration, the oldest surviving geocache as of right now is this one. It's like, I guess they give them names, Mingo GC30. It's in Kansas. And then the most found one, the people that have like marked that they found it the most, is in Prague. There is a cache in Antarctica and no one has technically ever found or logged it, but it's a webcam and it was frozen over until very recently, so no one could ever actually find it, but it has live footage, and there's a link in your workbook to go find it if you want to look at the footage. You can see it now. Geocache was added to the Scrabble dictionary in 2014 and Webster's in 2012. I think 2010 maybe was the first year I did it. Okay, Geocaching Day is celebrated on the third Saturday of every August, and it started back in 2011 when the first geocaching block party was held at Groundspeak headquarters. So that's like, ooh, geocaching headquarters. It isn't often when you can tap into an outdoor game that has a government budget of more than $500 million a year. That is so interesting. Technically, what you're doing is free, but you're utilizing something that the government pays for with satellites, and it costs them billions of dollars to run. Interesting perspective. All right, so what are you going to do? Obviously, this week's mission, if it wasn't obvious, that's insane, is to do to go find a cache. Yeah, so like I said, you can use your phone with the app, or you can just go to geocaching.com. You do need to make like an account. But then once you do that, you just need like a phone or GPS and a pen and go find one. And yeah, find a cache, use the GPS, sign the log, take a photo, and then tell me about it. I want to see the picture of, and like you can document your mission and everything. I want to see it. Tag me at Merriment Maker on Instagram and hashtag Merriment Making, and I'll reshare it. And tag them too. All right, but before you go, here are some other ways to celebrate. So because August 19th is Geocache Day, if you log it, you can like log an Adventure Lab location, and then you're entered into winning their souvenir. You can like check that out with them. That's like an official thing to like win a free thing if you do it for the upcoming day. You can also, there's links for all of this in your workbook, but there is like a ton of stuff you can get. They have like free, or not free, official rather, stuff on their website. So they have like specific stuff for hiding things. Like I remember back at like record stores and stuff, there would be like Pringles cans that you could use as a safe. It's kind of that mentality, but it is specifically for hiding caches, and it's really cool. There's also like this thing, like this green thing that says official geocache. There's a bunch of that kind of stuff. There are the official trackables that you can buy. There's the 2023 souvenir geocoin. There's gifts. There's gear that you might need. You can attend or host a geocaching event. There's an article about the 10 like tips for finding your first cache, or things that you might want to bring with you. You can partner with them. You can read about how GPS works. You can watch this little video about more about longitude and latitude. There's a whole there's a whole YouTube world about this, but there's one really cool one that I found, the geocaching vlogger on YouTube. There's a video I found about really creative caches, like really like they call them evil caches, I guess, in the world. That's the lingo they use, but it's just ones, they're very, very hard to assume that was the cache, even when you're right there. There's a book called Geocaching for Dummies. There's a geocaching music video that's very fun. There's a geocache girl song. It's very acoustic. Okay, here's some inspiration. So everything I'm going to show you is a cache. That was just a rock that was in a pipe. Are you kidding? Very tiny. That's like an eyeball. You know, some of these are obvious, right? Like it literally says official geocache on this. This, like, are you kidding? That's like one of those little light things on a pole. Oh my God. That's very cute, this whole Lego thing. Like some of them are obvious and they're meant to be cute, but some of them, like, this would drive me nuts. How are you supposed to know that? That's crazy. That's some sort of like very tiny canister on the top of a Coke bottle. That is just like a safe thing. But then look how cute you can make it inside. This says, haha, silly, the cache is in your hand, because I guess you had to use like a screwdriver to get it open. I don't know. This is a really cute logbook that's like a CD. That's just in a like a barrel, like a rain barrel. Look how big the logbook is. Oh my God. That's just like a stick. This is like a free library, but look, it has like a little thing in it. That's a toilet. Look how elaborate this one is. This is a giant mousetrap. I mean, come on. These are so creative. Okay, that's it. Enjoy. Go geocaching. Get out of your computer. Go live your life. I'll see you next week. Enjoy.